All
Hey.
right. Hello, everybody. We're completely new to this, so just bear with us. Um, yeah. Hello. Welcome to our podcast.
Well,
We are
hello.
your hosts. I'm Ashley, and this is my fiance and co-host, James.
Hello.
Hello. So, just a little bit about us before we get started. We're stupid. We're morons. We love Halloween. That's all you really need to know about us. We are obsessed with horror movies, and that's basically what our podcast is going to basically consist of. It's just us talking about shit for who knows how long about horror stuff. So we'll try to keep it consistent with every episode, but we're going to get off track, so just bear with us, alright?
Things can tend to detour
Anything you
kind of
want
hard
to add,
sometimes.
James?
Yeah, things tend to detour kind of hard sometimes, but we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
I mean, that's what a podcast is for. It's talking, right? We just talk
Yeah.
about things. We be bros.
Yeah.
Alright. So, for kind of like I guess, a topic of today, we're going to be talking about Halloween Horror Nights. It's fast approaching, starting on September 1st. So we have about T minus 2 weeks, a little less than that actually. So we're going to go ahead and talk about Halloween Horror Nights stuff, and you know, just yeah,
Yeah, first thing we should
I'm
probably
doing
mention is
great at
the
this.
different houses that we have here.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and just do a brief overview. So if anyone has never really heard of Halloween Horror Nights, and if you haven't, shame on you. But Halloween Horror Nights is an event that's been going on for a long, long time. Very long time. Uh, it's going on its 23rd year as of 2023. The Lord of Art Savior, Jesus Christ. So yeah, anyway, Halloween Horror Nights started if you're native in the Florida area. There's actually different Universal parks. Parks that do this are going to be Universal Orlando, Universal Hollywood, Universal Singapore, and I believe also Universal Japan does it as well. Not all of the Universal parks do Halloween Horror Nights, but a fair bit do. I don't know exactly all of the Universal parks if there is them, but those are the ones that I know of. So, we'll just, for relevancy, we're just gonna stay with our homeland, the one that is more local to us, which is gonna be the Orlando event. So, the one in Orlando, actually began in the year of 1991, with only one house. I honestly can't remember which one it was. I probably should have done more research, but I believe it was Beetlejuice. I will probably edit it to correct it if I was right or wrong.
I'm checking it
Um,
through right now.
Thank you. But yeah, so it began in 1991 in Universal Studios Florida, their Universal Studios Florida park, since it has two parks, with only one house, and has continued annually to become one of the largest, if not the largest, Halloween event in the United States.
The very
Um,
first Halloween Horror Nights house, just to finish your thing from earlier, it was originally
mhm,
under the title of Fright Nights, and it
yeah,
began. It had one
well, that was the
singular
title
haunted
of the
house
event.
called the. Yeah, it had one singular haunted house titled the Dungeon of Terror.
Yeah, that's right. It was the Dungeon of Terror, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it actually began as a 3-night event. I believe I can't remember specifically, but I believe that the dates were October 25th, the 26th, and the 31st, I believe.
Yep, of 1991.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, trying to remember actually. I know for a fact that Universal Japan does it. I'm just trying to remember exactly which ones do, but whatever. Um.
Singapore also
Yeah,
does it. It's Orlando, Hollywood,
yeah.
Singapore,
I said
and
Singapore. I
Japan.
just didn't know if there was any other ones that did it, but
Just those four. Yeah.
um. But yeah, so Universal Orlando was the first park to start doing Halloween Horror Nights, and I believe Hollywood was the next one. I believe that they started the year after in 1992, and then 2000, and then they took a break from it, and then they started back up again in 2006. My apologies. And then Universal Studios Singapore started in 2011, and then Japan started in 2012. Um, But yeah, it used to be called Fright Nights, and actually, the first year that it started in 1991, the admission price to get in was actually $12.
Yeah.
Much cheaper than it is nowadays, but um, yeah, and believe it or not, when the event first started in 1991, because the event now is usually held in the Universal Studios Florida Park. But when it started, it actually was held in the from 1991 to 2001, the event was held at the Universal Studios Park, and then it got moved to the Islands of Adventure Park in 2002, where it was deemed as Howling Horror Nights Islands of Fear, because Islands of Adventure, to correlate,
Yeah.
And then it had at that point it had 5 houses, and then the mission got charged up to, I believe, around $50, if I remember correctly. That's also around the time when the Universal Marketing actually changed the stuff to Roman numerals to count down the event years rather than just our usual Arabic numeral system.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Getting back to the main topic we were starting here. The recently, just very, very recently, the houses for this year of Orlando have been finally released to us.
They were. Yeah, so we got a whopping 10 houses, as we have the last few years. Yes. Actually, I'm pulling up the list right now as we speak, just to make sure I'm not leaving any house behind here. But yeah, we do have 10 houses, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and start with the IP houses, because I think that's probably what everybody wants to hear. No one really cares about the regular original houses. Well, I do. Those are the best, but I'm gonna get chopped off for that. So.
IP houses, we mean, by the way, as big name houses, things like
property houses, like stuff that are owned by other companies. Yeah.
All right.
So we'll start off with the banger of this year. Stranger Things has made a return. I believe Stranger Things popped up. I can't remember exactly. I believe it was either 2017 or 2018. It was either one of those years. So either in Halloween Horror Nights 27 or Halloween Horror Nights 28 it showed up. And I believe that covered seasons 1 and 2. But this year we have been graciously blessed with Stranger Things season 4. So I'll just read off the synopsis for you guys. So it says, try to escape the curse of Vecna. You'll need your squad to resist Vecna's gruesome curse. Like 11, now is your chance to stop him once and for all as you take on the scariest season of Stranger Things yet.
Now, personally, I have not actually seen Stranger Things season 4. I was only able to get up to the first 2 seasons. Have you seen it yet, Holly?
I haven't seen any of it.
So neither of us know who Vecna is. So neither of us know who Vecna is.
I mean, I know what the guy looks like. I just haven't seen any of the show episodes yet. It's just so hard for me to sit down and watch TV. Movies, it's so much easier for me to do so.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know I'm a disgrace upon this earth. I am so sorry.
You're fine. Yeah, that's the Stranger Things house right there. It's just like she said, the second time that they've done a Stranger Things house. It's, like I said, very focused on the later seasons there. We don't have a whole lot of other information aside from these little short blurbs we're looking at here on the website. These can all be found just by typing in Universal Orlando, haunted Halloween Horror Nights houses, and right on the webpage it shows that there. So if you want to find a little more information, you can go right there. We'll probably pop a link to that in the description.
Yeah, we'll pop a link in the description, and we'll probably, if we do have the time to or can figure out how to do that, we will go ahead and post the link somewhere on the video, either on the top right-hand side of the corner, or the little poppy-up thingy happens, or just place it on the screen for you guys. So probably we'll also just, for assurance, put it in the description, because that'll be just easier. Anyway, continuing on to the next house, we have The Exorcist Believer, which is not actually based on the original film of The Exorcist. It's actually built off of a I can't remember if it's either a TV show or if like it's a sequel
I'm
kind
pretty
of
sure.
other movie.
I think it might be a recent reboot that happened where it's two missing girls instead of the Reagan we know and love from
Yeah.
the original movie.
Yeah, which is going to be very interesting. Oh yeah, I just glanced at the synopsis. This is two missing girls, so I think that kind of explains it for us. But yeah, anyway, it says two missing girls have been found with no memory of what happened to them, but wherever they went, the ultimate evil has returned with them. Enter the most terrifying scenes from the new Blumhouse film. Now, Blumhouse has done a few, well, I should say Universal has done a few houses of Blumhouse films, and they're actually usually pretty good. So I'm actually very excited for this one personally, because I am a huge fan of the Exorcist movie, and I also really like Blumhouse movies, which I used to not hate, but I used to not be very, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess, yeah, of like Blumhouse films, but as I've watched them,
nice
they're starting to grow on me.
Yeah. Recently, they've made some very, very unique films, honestly, because they made that Willy's Wonderland recently, didn't they? As a Blumhouse film, is it? Or was that independent?
I think it. I'm trying to remember. Well, I'm trying to remember that. I know that one of my favorite Blumhouse films that actually came out recently was The Black Phone. That one was very good. Yeah.
Black Phone was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I know they're actually creating the Five Nights at Freddy's movies that's coming out later this year. I'm actually excited for that too.
Yeah, they got the rights to the Five Nights at Freddy's movie there.
Yeah, another one that I know that they made that I recently watched was something called Fantasy Island. That was actually they made Get Out too. They made Us, which was also very good.
Also, Jordan Peele's affiliated with them.
Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. I love Jordan Peele.
Yeah. I haven't. My parents didn't say that good. So good. Oh, Megan. How the heck did I forget Megan?
Oh, Megan. Megan has been a very, very big thing recently.
Yeah, very good. I actually enjoyed it. I loved it.
I haven't gotten to see it yet, but I absolutely love to. A recent HorrorCon that we attended together, the actress that played the robot doll was there, actually. She came all the way down to Florida from, like, New Zealand, I think it was. Just to answer some questions.
Yeah, New Zealand.
Yeah. She was great. It was cool. I think she's, like, 12 or 13. She's pretty young.
I believe 13.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, 13. Also, very interesting thing that I actually just realized. A lot of people may or may not know, but kind of getting off topic a little bit here, but obviously staying on topic. Rob Zombie is a very either you love him or you hate him for his horror films. One of his films, Lords of Salem, was actually produced by Blumhouse Studios.
Oh, yeah, it was a Blumhouse?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he worked with Jason Blum on it.
Huh. I had no idea. I would have never known.
I actually found that out recently. I thought it was very interesting.
Good Lord, Blumhouse is a diverse studio.
Yeah, I can't remember specifically, but it's like I think right after making the remake of Halloween, Rob said that he wanted to try to make something original, and he decided to go ahead and make that, which I haven't gotten a chance to see Lords of Salem, but I've heard it's really good and it looks good. Plus, I have like a weird keen for Rob Zombie horror films, so
me too.
I think it's something that'd be up my alley.
I absolutely adore Rob Zombie films. I've seen all of the. Well, let me just pull up a list of his films again so I can remember what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen all of the his different. I can't talk right.
You're good.
What are they? The Three from Hell, like all those ones.
Oh, the three. Yeah, the Firefly trilogy, as he calls it.
Yeah, the Firefly trilogy of the Devil's Rejects,
House of a Thousand Corpses, Three from Hell. I think those are the only three.
Yeah. But one of the other ones that I saw recently of his was 31. That is a very interesting film.
How so? Because I actually haven't gotten a chance to see it yet.
31 stars Sherry Moon Zombie, and it's a bunch of carnival workers that are kidnapped and held hostage in this weird, messed up compound where they're forced to participate in a weird, messed up, horror game where they gotta survive 12 hours against a gang of sadistic clowns. Because, it's a Rob Zombie film. You gotta have clowns somewhere.
Of course.
There's a, specifically, I remember, there's a midget, or little person, sorry. I know that people prefer that term. Little person that is a Nazi that runs around with, knives.
Oh my god.
For editing purposes, I'm gonna throw up a picture of him right here. Look at this man.
Alright, let's take a look. See. And
31. If I just type in 31 Nazi.
Oh my god.
Autofill says Nazi midget.
Oh my god, it's horrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna copy and paste it.
You just probably tainted your Google search history.
Oh, there's too much stuff in here. But that right there.
Oh my! I've seen a picture of that guy before. Oh my gosh. I've seen that before. I did not realize it was from that movie.
Yep, that's from that movie right there.
Interesting.
31 had all sorts of strange stuff. There's a bit where he's just wearing a bunny head for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
There's the picture of that right there.
Mm-hmm. I see.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It was a strange film, but I liked it a lot.
I need to see. Okay, if you ever get the chance to know me, I love strange or weird films. I don't know what is up with them, but they just have this weird attraction force to them that I'm just I have to. It's probably gonna be weird and stupid, but I'm gonna watch it because I want to know what happens. And usually, honestly, I end up liking them.
I've always been a massive fan of strange, especially low-budget horror films, due to the fact that I I have several good friends that are in audio or video production. I used to be in video production class myself, and I just like seeing little, people making whatever they small things they want. For instance, recently a giant example of that is Velocipaster.
Oh my god, a Velocipaster!
Velocipaster is one of those. It's cheap. It's so bad it's good type things, and you can tell it was designed just probably by a film group, a group of people that are just hanging around, messing around.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that me and Luna had a conversation about this. Because for reference, our friend Luna, she is a film student, so she's.
You mean Gorgon?
Well, Luna/Gorgon.
Sorry, that's a separate joke for another time.
Yeah, well, it's another thing. Yeah, so anyway, she was giving me this expertise and stuff, and we were talking about, Velocipaster and stuff like that, and god damn it, James, you already made me lose my train of thought. Shit!
Was it the Nazi midget?
No, it was the Gorgon thing!
God, it's still sitting there.
You know what? How about you explain that, James? Go ahead, explain that.
Which thing you want to explain here?
You know what? Never mind.
Which thing?
No, never mind. Never mind. You're fine.
Gorgon, that person, watching Velocipaster with us. And also, we've recently done a whole bunch of acting work for our good friend here as well. Just the other day, we were over at their house doing a bit of acting for their
school project.
Yeah, school project.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we're getting off topic now.
We should just dedicate this segment actually to just kind of discussing Rob Zombie's films.
Oh god. I mean, we started talking about Halloween Horror Nights stuff, and now we're just derailing into podcast stuff. But yeah. I guess let's go ahead and just finish up the houses real quick, just to kind of stay on topic. But anyway, going into the next one, our third IP house is going to be The Last of Us from the hit PlayStation game.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that needs any introduction.
Not at all.
It's very popular.
No, I personally have not gotten to be able to see either the TV show that was created for it, or neither have I played the game. The game because I'm not doing well on money right now, and the TV show just because I don't have Netflix, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I unfortunately don't know much about The Last of Us myself.
Yeah, it's kind of in the same boat. I know kind of the basis of it, but
Very interesting fact about them. I have heard about this. The clickers, which are the zombies in that film or game, are based off of a fungus, a real life fungus that I'm forgetting the name of right now. I'm blanking on the name of it right now. But this fungus takes over the bodies of small insects like ants, and basically forces them to walk upwards towards the sunlight, and basically pilots their dead body for a little bit, so that a bird comes along, eats that, and can spread the fungus.
yeah. Also, the
Cordyceps.
thing using it, yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but cordyceps, yes, it's actually referred to as the zombie ant fungus. Yeah, very, very interesting. Yeah, it's a really weird thing because I've actually heard about it more recently, in like my medical studies. I'm like, what is this thing that can like you can turn ants into zombies? What is that? Funny enough, cordyceps is not actually capable of infecting humans. It's actually usually common in actually some health supplements and usually in Chinese herbal medications. And it's shown to improve like immunity and also has been linked to possibly be helpful in fighting cancer and shrinking tumor sizes because of its ability to fight carcinogenous cells.
Oh, it can fight carcinogens?
Yeah, they're showing that it's possible. I gotta say alleged, but there's been links to it.
That's pretty impressive. It can actually do that.
Yeah, and it's also because I think other people have actually studied and found out that it's also very good with helping with like athletic performance, like for increasing stamina and strength, and it's actually better in helping with your kidney function.
All right.
But yeah, humans can't carry the fungus because of how high our internal body temperatures are, and plus our bodies are much more complex than those of ants and other insects. So it protects us from the cordyceps infection, but basically, from what I've heard, is that the fungus actually uses kind of like a mind control aspect to get the insect to do it at once, which kind of puts in the zombie kind of goal there. So basically, fungus need to get their host to migrate to a climate most habitable for the fungus. And fungus, they drain all of the nutrients and it fills the host body with spores that allows for reproduction. And then it kind of like I think it tells the person, or not the person, the animal, to kind of like seek higher ground or remain there, so it kind of expels spores into the atmosphere and causes the thing to go airborne and do all its thing, kind of repeat the process. It's very interesting. Never really heard of anything about it, but yeah. So they used that virus, and they got help to kind of like make something for the video game.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, man, I feel like I'm not very knowledgeable in this stuff. Oh dear God. Anyway, moving on. I'm not really excited for this next house, but I can understand that there might be some people excited for it. Chucky, Ultimate Kill Count is our next one.
What I've heard is that this one is specifically more related to the TV show that's come out recently. That follows closely the original kind of look of Chucky and how he acted.
Yeah, it is based off of the TV show. Yes.
Yeah. Personally, I'm kind of glad.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Sorry.
Very good. Personally, I'm kind of glad that they have kind of returned his design to similar how he looked in the first few films, because I don't know if everyone's seen what they did with when they rebooted the Chucky franchise. But I personally really did dislike the character, like the doll they used for that.
Mhm.
Let me try and find. I'm gonna try and find a picture of him. I just really personally disliked the way that specific iteration of Chucky looked.
Yeah.
Here's the. Let me just grab the cover of that one real quick. This one.
Let's take a look. See. Oh God, yeah, I remember that. That's ugh. Why? It doesn't feel like
I
you
just
know.
really I prefer the like really Cabbage Patch doll looking original model.
Yeah, yeah. He looks interesting. I've never been a fond of that. But yeah,
There's the
personally,
original
I've never
Chucky.
really found any of the Chucky films to be scary. Maybe when I was younger, I would have been. The
Chucky used to
first
scare
two
the
are
shit
just
out of
like
me.
really great. I'm sorry.
Chucky used to scare the shit out of me when I was younger, but I only saw like a clip of it. But actually seeing this is a funny story. I uh I was scared of Chucky for the longest time, didn't like the doll, thought it was terrifying looking. Then I actually watched the film when I was a little older, and I heard him speak, and the Brooklyn accent coming out of a small doll's body made me lose my shit. I couldn't take him seriously after that.
I honestly, same thing happened. I'm like, oh man, this thing is. And it was so funny. It actually wasn't my first introduction with him. Was not actually from any of like the movies or whatever. I don't know if you remember, but an episode of Mythbusters
You saw the
actually was
same one
doing.
that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. Oh my god, I can't believe you actually saw it.
It's the
Yeah.
toaster bat scene.
Yes.
They were
Yeah.
testing
So
whether or not it was actually like feasible.
yeah. And it was so crazy because from what I remember, it's like so basically they're trying to like do like a thing about like God, electrocution, right?
Yeah.
Like whether you actually or not you can get electrocuted in the bathtub or not.
Yeah, it was
And
from one of the scenes in like the third movie, I think, where it
yeah,
was the one where it was Bride of
I
Chucky.
believe it was the second film, which was the Bride of Chucky.
Yeah, it was Bride
But
of Chucky where he murders her by while she's in the bath, just by dumping a like her blow dryer and all her like her whole electronic shelf just into the bath with her.
mhm. And I remember they actually showed that scene, and I got so freaking scared of that as a child. It was weird. It was creepy. I'm like, no, I don't want this doll killing me with a toaster in the bathtub. Absolutely not.
An important thing
And
to note. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I cut you off. Cut you off. Go ahead.
You're fine.
I was saying that an important thing to note about that scene that they showed is he does not talk in that scene.
Mhm.
There's a bit in there he knocks the stuff over and it falls and he does this creepy like childlike laugh.
Mhm.
It's terrifying out of context, but in context, when you've just seen him swear with the bathroom scene that we were talking about there, where it dumps in the actual bit that they played for the Mythbusters thing, Chucky does
Mhm.
not actually talk in that. The only kind of
Yeah.
sounds he makes, he like rubs his hands together and giggles like a child, which is terrifying
Mhm.
coming from a doll if you have not seen the movie. Or if you
Mhm.
see the movie and you see him swearing at his girlfriend from a doll body with a Brooklyn accent, it just feels a little stranger.
Yeah.
It's just in context with Chucky, I feel like just hearing an adult's voice coming out of a small doll body
This
is
is really funny.
funnier to me personally.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Yeah, because after I watched it, and I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad. I never really found any of the films scary after that. I mean, the first two are like really great, fun horror films that I think is like nice to watch if you don't have anything really better to do. I personally find the franchise more of like horror comedy in that tier. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, sure, it can be a bit creepy at times, but still, like the only Child's Play films that I like are like Child's Play 2, The Curse of Chucky, and then I think maybe the Bride of Chucky. Sorry, I had to think
The,
about it.
the original one was pretty great too. I tend to like the original films in most series. a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
That one was
Yeah.
focused a lot still on the mystery of what was going on, why Chucky was still alive, and him trying to get back into his original body. No, he was trying to possess the child, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But like when I think of like the pinnacle of horror, I usually think of like Alien, Halloween, It, The Leprechaun, Freddy, Jason, Hellraiser,
Oh God, the
Tales from
Leprechaun.
the Crypt, like that kind of thing. But that's just me.
The Leprechaun is something else when it comes to films.
I know,
It,
it's hilarious.
there's a film called Leprechaun in the Hood.
Jesus.
Like, let me pull up the box art for it. It'll be put on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Leprechaun in the.
Oh God. Do I even want to know what this looks like?
This is the real box art.
Let's see. Let's take a look at it. Oh my God. Evil's in the house. That's hilarious. Is this real?
Yes. Yes,
That's amazing.
it's very
I'm
real.
so happy.
Almost, there's like several scenes where he's like smoke. Yeah, here. Hold on. This is an actual screen grab.
That's hilarious. Oh my God.
He's smoking a bong.
Oh, that's good. I love that. That right there is the pinnacle of horror, everybody.
Didn't Warwick Davis play the Leprechaun in all those films too? Yeah, he did. That's totally his face shape.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Warwick Davis is amazing.
Yeah. I don't know why, but like horror movies that aren't really horror movies are also funny too. Like for instance, like the classic. Oh my God, you just sent me another one. I lost my train of thought hand. Like the classic monsters, like they're classics for a reason. But specifically, I want to take a moment to talk about my baby, the creature from the Black Lagoon. Let's just talk about that for a second, which will actually stay on topic and lead us into the next house that we got. But for reference. So obviously, it's a classic. The movie came out a long time ago, and it came out in like the 1960s, 50s, late 50s, early 60s in that area. And come on, look at his face. He's so cheesy. Like he's adorable. I love him.
It was for the time. It was a really well articulated suit. It had actual breathable gills.
Mm-hmm. Like he's my favorite. Like if you like took a look around my room, like I have a creature from the Black Lagoon plushie, 2 creatures from the Black Lagoon purses. I have a creature from the Black Lagoon skirt. Like I'm obsessed with Gilman. I'm not bashing the movie at all, but I'm just saying it's so funny. It's like the charm of like the effects from that kind of like make it what it is. And I feel like that's kind of like the same thing that happens with these kind of films, or just like they're supposed to be scary, and then they're like, they're in the horror genre, but there's just something about them that has like a certain charm and sparkle. Just makes them so much better than so much more than that.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
There's a lot of charm that went into the original, a lot of the older films like that. I personally really, really like watching some of the older films, just because I love seeing what people manage to do, the ingenious ways they manage to create effects without the modern things we have, like CGI or really advanced makeup. I'll always be a giant sucker for practical effects, too.
Yeah. Remember that show that we went to at Universal? When they before we went to Halloween Horror Nights, where they did like they showed off all of their special effects. That is awesome stuff to me.
Oh yeah,
the horror makeup show. If you ever get a chance to go there, if you're at Universal, definitely recommend. It's amazing. If you're a big thing for like monster magic, I would highly recommend going.
Exceptionally worth it, especially in the sense that in R1. The makeup artist that was on stage had to be physically restrained by his fellow presenter from going into the crowd to attack a small child.
Oh yeah, and I know you weren't with us, but the show before that, when I went like the year before, Beetlejuice just kept spraying kids with hand sanitizer. It was hilarious. He's like, "No, you're disgusting. Take some more."
they like harassing children because it's funny.
It's funny, Yeah. But anyway, so since we were talking about the creature in the classic monsters, let's go ahead and get into our next house. without trying to break up stuff too easily. Next one we got is one I'm actually very much so looking forward. Universal Monsters Unmasked, which actually kind of highlights all of the French monsters. So we're talking Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, Phantom of the Opera, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Invisible Man. We're talking all these guys.
Interestingly enough, almost all of those, I believe, are related to an H.G. Wells novel.
I think they are.
Because Invisible Man's H.G. Wells, Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, if I remember correctly, is H.G. Wells.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Phantom of the Opera was H.G. Wells or not. Hold on. H.G. Wells. I know for a fact he did Invisible Man.
Yeah. Well, I know that Andrew Lloyd Webber did a show based on because the original Phantom of the Opera novel came out in the year of 1910. And I think it was Gaston Leroux, I think was his name. And then the novel was actually based on a bunch of multiple spooky events at an opera house where the book and the musical are set. I can't remember the name. It was like the Palace Garnier, I think is how I don't know French, so I'm trying my best here. But it's PALAISGARNIER.
All right.
But yeah, and in the original novel, Leroux actually says that the Phantom was born disfigured, and he haunts the opera house to satisfy his love of music without being seen to the public. And then the 1943 film changed this explanation to say that he had acid splashed on his face.
Yeah.
So originally, it was like he was born with it, rather than it being an injury. The opera. Yeah, there's been, if you actually believe it or not, there's actually been 9 film adaptations of the original novel of the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, yeah.
Because Universal's original film adaptation was actually in 1925. It's actually deemed as the most, responsible for his famous look of, the cape and all that. And he, Lon Chaney, who actually played the Phantom in the 1925 movie, actually did his own makeup. Fun fact.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's an impressive work for.
Oh yeah.
Especially not quite being like having to work on yourself.
Oh yeah. It was very impressive for the time, especially because, honestly, I think even to this day, it's actually the most terrifying of the looks. Like, if you actually look up 1925 Phantom of the Opera, it's some really interesting stuff. Like, it's really good. Really, I say it's amazing look for the character.
Oh yeah, here let me throw an image of that in there real quick, just so we have a reference.
Yes, thank you.
There he is, unmasked.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it. Like the dark shadow on his eye, like the hyphen of his. I think it's phenomenal.
Oh wow! I actually found a GIF of him being unmasked.
Awesome. That's crazy. Right from the 1925 movie?
Yeah.
Whoa! Beautiful. I love it.
Oh wow! The original mask was not the Phantom half mask that everyone knows. It's honestly a very creepy looking mask. Wow.
Yeah, it's actually a full face, and I believe it was latex or some form of derivative of latex.
It looks latex, given how it slides off like that.
Yeah, it's very creepy.
It looks like a porcelain doll almost.
I know, which I think it adds the charm. Actually, honestly, I think that's one of my favorite looks of the Phantom, and I think that's the derivative that they actually took for the Haunted House or Halloween Horror Nights. Because if you actually if you go to Universal's website and you go to their houses and you look at the picture, you can see that he's actually holding a full face rather than the half mask that was actually derived in all of the other.
The nose shape also looks incredibly similar to the nose shape in the original one.
Yeah, Because the next one that comes out is actually not labeled as Phantom of the Opera, because a lot of the adaptations of the Phantom movies came out in either the United States or Great Britain. Then the next one that came out that I know of is actually 1935's Song at Midnight. It was actually produced in China as they want to produce their own version of the story. So, same thing. A disfigured musical genius stalks the ground of an opera house, seeking revenge against those who wronged him. Kind of the same thing. While the film deviates greatly from the book, the framework is still recognizable to fans of the story. So they kind of know that it's the Phantom of the Opera without being the Phantom of the Opera, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
And then the next one that came out, I believe, is another one of Universal Studios. Their second one, which is 1943's Phantom of the Opera. This one is the one that usually people know of when they're talking, well, other than the 25 version, which is another famous one. These ones are usually seen as pretty neck and neck for kind of notability. Because they adapted the story in the 1920s, and then the 1940s, bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so when they made the 1925 movie, they did all that stuff. When the 1940s came around, the studio made it again, and they actually, at this point, added the Phantom to the roster of Universal Monsters, whereas before, he wasn't necessarily deemed as monster enough, which I think was wrong, because, look at that beautiful face. I think that he deserves to be up there. They finally recognized him and added him to the list of the classic monsters. It was this film that they changed his backstory from being disfigured to having an acid face.
Which, honestly, if you look at the two characters, being disfigured for the original monster makes sense, because he looks pretty natural looking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he looks like his face just is that way. He was just born like that. But if you look at the disc specific Phantom, if I can find his unmasked picture, it very much looks like acid burns.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because this is the picture that I found of his, mask. Oh, you already beat me to it. Nice. Yeah. Personally, I wasn't really. I like it. It's a classic, but I like the looks of the 1925. I really love the for this one. I think the addition of Technicolor helped to add the visual interest of the film, but Lon Chaney's makeup was just infamous. You can't change that.
Lon Chaney is an absolute legend.
That's my opinion.
Lon Chaney is just an absolute legend in all of that when it comes down to it.
Mm-hmm.
He also was the Wolfman, wasn't he?
I believe so. Actually, let me Lon Chaney. My man.
Lon Chaney Wolfman, yeah. No, Lon Chaney
Jr. He was in Hunchback of No Wolfman. He was in London After Midnight. He was Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. Oh my god. I already said Hunchback. My apologies. Dracula versus Frankenstein, The House of Dracula. He was in Mice and Men.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. He was in Treasure Island, The Black Sheep.
Apparently also the Abbott Costello bit where they met Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
Good lord, I forgot how much I love the cover art in the older, 20s films.
I know.
It's too bad there's not a whole lot of hand-drawn cover art anymore.
Yeah, it's really hard to find stuff like that. I know we're spending a lot of time with the Phantom, but he's just, honestly one of my favorite classic monsters, so I'm going to spend time on him. Anyway, next Phantom film to come out was actually in 1962. And returning to the formula that it hit before them, they added the acid face again.
It's had a very, very interesting mask that they decided to go for with the Phantom.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a very interesting one. It's like almost kind of paper mache-esque.
It
Actually,
it looks
I'm
very
gonna
home built.
very home built, which I like it. I think it works good. Here, I'm gonna send you a picture too. But
Yeah.
um, yeah. So that's the 62, and then the next one that I know of was in 89, 1989. This one is where Andrew Lloyd Webber put his music into.
Also, for reference, this is also the unmasked Phantom from '62.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, gorgeous. He kind of gives me Beetlejuice vibes a little bit.
A bit. I like the addition of the peeling on the face and also the completely marked out eye, which hasn't been seen on any of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So which one are we up to now?
We are at 1989's Phantom of the Opera.
1989.
This one was the adaptation had other plans, and I believe it. They think they're going to do like. Okay, so Andrew Lloyd Webber did the music for this one. I think I can't remember if he did. I know he did the music for the Broadway or like the musical, and then he did the music for 2004's Phantom. We'll get to 2004. Trust me, you'll get there.
This
But
is a very flamboyant Phantom we have.
yes. So they were gonna go ahead. So originally, for the music, they were gonna do like romantic music, but then they're like, "No, this is horror. We need to return to the horror roots." So that's what they did. Um, and then this is kind of where I guess, and believe it or not, in 1989's thing, the guy who plays the Phantom is actually Robert Englund, who is known as the guy who plays Freddy Krueger.
That makes a lot of... Robert Englund's been in a lot of things that you wouldn't notice. Also, fun little fact, in the original Halloween, Robert Englund was also on set, not as an actor, but throwing leaves onto the set to give the appearance of autumn.
I love you, Robert. You do that. You throw them leaves.
He's amazing. It's still an absolute shame that they weren't able to get his likeness for the Freddy Krueger character in Dead by Daylight. They did get the remakes likeness though.
I know, crazy. But anyway, the makeup is actually this is my second favorite makeup look for the Phantom, next to 25's 1925. The gore effects are also very good too. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of people actually didn't like the 1989 adaptation, from my knowledge, because the focus on pure horror kind of turned a lot of people off who were looking for something more like the musical, which it's the Phantom. I like how they return to their horror roots, but again, I understand how it can't be for everybody.
Yeah.
But
and of course, as usual, we'll be showing the masked and unmasked versions of both.
Yeah. This one, I actually like the album. I think this is probably my favorite Phantom outfit, the red with the feather. Oh my god, classic.
It's really nice looking.
It's my favorite. I love it. All right.
See, he looks vaguely piratey.
I know. I love it.
All right.
Okay. Next one is going to be this is another one that a lot of people don't know about for a little bit, but I'm going to cover it. So this is 1998's Phantom of the Opera, and this actually went a very different route from the original novel. So in this one, the Phantom isn't like a scarred genius or any like weird disfigurement or like a strange man who lives beneath an opera house. This man was raised by rats, and instead of like focusing on like Christine, an obsession with Christine, he's avenging his rats. That's the story.
I'm having a hard time finding a mask.
I don't know if he had one, to be completely honest.
I think he never used a mask because he was never disfigured.
Mm-hmm. That's what is very interesting.
Which is also interesting because this was the cover art of this right here, which is the only kind of thing we have for a mask.
Yeah. And very interesting. But yeah, Ratman. That's all I can say.
That's a Very interesting route they decided to take for the 1998 one.
Just right, man. For Phantom, we have two more stuff. So yay. This one is not exactly a very unique spin. Well, it's also unique, but this one is actually a Disney Channel original movie. Believe it or not.
Really?
I'm talking about 2000's The Phantom of the Megaplex.
The Phantom of the Megaplex.
So, I don't know if this counts, but I'm just gonna go over it because I think it's very interesting. So, basically, a teenage boy finds himself, he's working at a movie theater and he just has some weird kooky stuff's going on. It was very interesting. Just a little tidbit. They kind of like, just a little fact. I'm not gonna go too much depth into it. But did I go over 79? I think I skipped 1979.
Did we skip 79?
Sorry. Yeah, I think I did. In case I didn't, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna just cover it real quick. So this one was directed by, I believe, Brian De Palma. He actually injected it with a dose of rock and roll. So think of Repo the Genetic Opera, but Phantom of the Opera.
If you've seen that film.
Yeah. Highly recommend.
Wow. That is an interesting mask.
Yeah, it is. It's like bird-like.
You know what's interesting is this reminds me very heavily of a character from Berserk, the manga Berserk.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just show you real quick why it reminds me so much. The front character in this drawing is the character I'm talking about.
That actually makes a lot of sense. It does look almost identical. That's really weird.
It's really interesting, actually.
But yeah, this, I believe, actually, I can't remember. I think this is actually one of the movies that inspired Repo the Genetic Opera, from what I remember.
He looks...
I love that picture so much.
I found a picture.
I love that picture.
For reference, friends, if you're only audio, I found a video of this specific Phantom just swinging through the sky like he's Batman.
He's swinging. He came in like a wrecking ball.
Good lordy. But this looks very rock opera-y.
You know, I don't know why, just looking at this picture, it reminds me... Okay, have you ever watched Phineas and Ferb? Do you remember the beak?
I haven't actually seen a whole lot of Phineas and Ferb myself.
Oh my god, the beak! Okay, I know this is... The beak, oh my god. I know this is not horror-related, but it just reminds me a lot of the beak from Phineas and Ferb. Let me grab an image for you, James. Like, I don't know why. It just reminds me of the beak.
I see it now. I understand now.
It looks like the beak. The beak. But yeah, this one actually...
I can very much see the inspiration that Repo the Genetic Opera took from it, especially in costume design.
Yeah.
This one was fun.
Yeah. Alright, the last Phantom film we're going to talk about, because I think we dealt a little bit too much on the Phantom today, but that's alright. We're going to talk about 2004's movie.
One of my personal favorites.
Honestly, I don't care what y'all say about it, I love the movie. I love the movie.
I have a personal major... I like this one a lot, personally because Sarah Brightman did a bit of work for it, and I really, really like Sarah Brightman. I think she's an amazing musician.
Oh my god, Sarah Brightman's amazing. And also Andrew Lloyd Webber is back. Everybody, he got to make his amazing musical that he so wanted to. That was that was rejected back in the 1980s. He finally did it.
And there we go.
Yeah. You know what? Gerard Butler made a good Phantom. I think he did very good. It was a very young Gerard Butler too.
Oh, yeah, I think he made a great Phantom, actually.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, so this is one of the last ones to come out. I believe it was the last one. Same thing. Has Christine, it has Eric, the whole 9 yards. It was very successful, by the way. Very
This one,
successful.
this
It's
one,
like I think the one that is the most known.
yeah, this one also includes my favorite kill by the Phantom, a bit where he wraps a noose from banisters from up in the rafters. I don't know if anyone listening has ever been up in the roof of a theater before, but there's loads of ropes and rigging up there and sandbags. What the Phantom does up there, he's chasing someone down. He grabs him, wraps a rope around his neck, ties a noose, and then kicks him off like a sandbag down to the ground, and it falls right in the middle of one of the plays.
Yay!
One of my favorite, most impressive kills the Phantom has ever done.
I know, I just loved it, you know?
It's even made funnier because the play that's going on in the middle of it, they're doing like a nice little lamb scene where everyone's in lamb costumes and there's like a shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the juxtaposition of that and then him dropping down, hanging by his neck with the Phantom's theme music playing behind. It's impressive.
Yeah. Anyway, anyway, Universal Monsters, everybody! The next house on our list is going to be Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins. I'm going to put a pin in that. That is going to invoke a big discussion. We're going to come back to that.
That one ties into the lore of all of Halloween.
That one is going to be the thing that is probably going to be the thing that we actually stay the most on topic about. Which, if you know me, and James knows this, I'm a huge fan of Halloween Horror Nights. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Next up is actually the house that I am looking forward to most. Dueling Dragons Choose Thy Fate. Now, Dueling Dragons, if you were in this prime, was actually a B&M dueling inverted coaster that was put into the park on the Islands of Adventure side of the park on opening day. Unfortunately, it was closed down a few years ago to make way for Hagrid's motorbike adventure ride. And it was a fan favorite, including one of my favorites, and it was actually my grandmother's favorite roller coaster. May she rest in peace. So, the really cool thing about this house in specific is that, like the coaster, where you got to choose your path on what train you wanted to go on, you get to pick what path you go through the house. And there's 4 possible endings. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant idea. I love the concept of it has like in games it's called replayability, but I'm not sure what the term applies to for actual stuff.
Yeah,
but like the ability to go through it again and still have a different experience and have fun.
It's awesome. There was only one other, at least as of recently, there was one other house that did this, and it was the well, not specifically like this, to my knowledge, but it was the Halloween, the HHN Icons house. 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. That one, you had the same path. However, there was a different icon that would ring victorious each time you went through. Kind of the same concept, but it's different because you can either go like down blue path, blue dragon wins, blue path, red dragon wins, red path, blue dragon wins, red path, red dragon wins. There's all kinds of stuff.
It's even more interactive than the Dracula versus the Vampire versus the Mummy house from one of the last years.
Yeah, which I thought that was fantastic, by the way.
I love that one.
That was also last year, by the way.
That was last year, and that the winner of the duel changed with the end of with every night.
Mm-hmm. So it was very cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one, 2 warlocks of great power were turned into dragons after trying to take Merlin's spellbook. Now you and your friends are caught in their epic battle. You must choose a path and a victor. Very cool.
It's a very interesting decision, especially for a haunted house.
Yeah, like I don't think I've ever I can't say I've ever went into a haunted house that was themed after one of my favorite roller coasters of all time. So I'm excited.
I really hope they lean really hard into like a fairground type ride style.
We'll see. We'll see.
That'd be amazing.
They'll probably stick maybe more closer to the original order of the ride, but hey, we'll see.
Yeah.
Next one, Yeti Campground Kills.
Ooh, this is one of the
You
ones
and
I'm
your
excited
friends.
for. This is one of the ones I'm excited for. This one and the next
Me
one are the two
too.
ones I'm the most excited for.
Yeah. You and your friends are about to venture into a 1950s campground overrun by huge menacing yetis who will rip apart anyone who gets into their way. You must flee to the ranger tower to escape. Please, I want to go into a ranger tower. Please.
Side tangent. My dream job has always been to just operate a ranger tower. I want to go up there. Please let me live up there. I'll buy one and move it to my house.
That will just be your house.
I will. I would just straight up live in a ranger tower.
You know, fair enough. You do that.
You ever been in one of those things? They're amazing.
And they're really cool. And hey, you'd be good if there was a flood.
Yeah.
Maybe.
They're firewatch towers. They're around specifically to try and watch around to make sure there's no fire. They have like a radio up there to communicate with people that need help. It's a good job. I love that job. But getting back on topic, Yeti Campground Kills.
Yeah. So, this is another one of the original houses. So, yeah. This is another one I'm very excited about. Darkest Deal. You know, Crossroad Demons.
This
They're
one,
making a comeback.
This one I'm extraordinarily excited about because I am a folk musician. I play fiddle. And the concept of selling your soul for musical glory is a very, very old legend that numerous people have been. I bet you I can pull up the name of the guitarist who is rumored to have sold his soul to the devil for blues music. Robert Johnson right there. Apparently met the devil at a crossroads demon and gave him his soul in exchange for mastering guitar. This is a very, very big thing, especially for Louisiana. I'm going to put up a picture of Robert Johnson himself right here. But this man was an absolute legend when it came to blues music.
Oh yeah, I remember him. Yeah, funny thing. The violin was actually hated, I think, for a while. Because it was actually referred to as the devil's instrument by religious leaders who thought that basically the violin was basically banned from any church or religious service since it because it was it was they thought that there was no place in the church for such an instrument since it was used for weddings, dances, gatherings, where alcohol and stuff are used. So they thought it was a very unholy instrument. And in the Renaissance period, the violin was actually appeared as death's accessory because you could see the Grim Reaper skeleton, just the actual persona of death would be very, very good at playing the violin. So it was oh, it's the devil's instrument.
This is a very funny thing, especially the current fiddle that I've played for the past 6-7 years maybe, I got from a man at a church.
I think it's hilarious.
Ironic. Very ironic.
And very interesting. I think that the Crossroads, kind of the whole devil went down the Georgia thing, the Crossroads demon thing, actually I believe was derived from kind of the ability of or the thing of Niccolo Paganini.
Paganini.
How do you say it? Paganini? Thank you.
Niccolo Paganini.
Thank you. Cause you're so much better with those names than I am.
He wrote Danse Macabre, didn't he? He wrote Danse Macabre, didn't he?
I believe so, yes. But he was referred to as the devil's violinist because his amazing skills were so good. His violin skills were so good that this people thought that this man got them from a gift from the devil. He was able to perform recitals about sheet music. He could memorize everything and said you could do. And he can play up to 12 notes per second.
Also, Jesus Christ, I guess I would have appeared to be a devil back then. Jesus. A fun fact about Paganini: he used to. If you don't know anything about fiddles, there's a section on the bow called frog. It's called the frog.
Yeah. I was gonna say, are you Googling this? You're a violinist. You should know, man.
I'm Googling it so I can show a picture.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Right on the picture, you see this little metal bit that's right down by that black bit. The black bit's called the frog.
He would the little nub?
Yeah, he would sharpen the metal bit by the horsehair right there, and intentionally strike his E string, the highest string he had, to break it in the middle of his playing, and then would switch and just shift up really high on the A string and keep playing.
That's so weird. That's really cool, actually.
This is a time where I really wish they invented video cameras before that, because I wish I could see it in person. Fuck! God, that sounds so cool.
I love it. Oh yeah, but one thing that I thought was very interesting is for the house. I don't think that he's a violinist, which I don't think. I think he's
No,
actually a guitar player.
yeah, it looks like it's directly relating to our good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Our good friend, I'm looking at his name back, Robert Johnson here.
Yeah.
Because even in the image, he's standing at a crossroads, holding his guitar, even wearing a similar hat and jacket to what he's usually seen wearing in pictures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See. Yeah. What it says is blues musician Pine Straw Spruce will have to face the music hour after meeting with the collector and trading his soul for musical glory. You and your squad will learn the terrible price of fame.
His name's Pine Straw Spruce.
I love it.
That's
Don't
amazing.
make fun of it. I love that name. Hey. And then last one before I go back to Oddfellow here. It's Blood Moon, Dark Offerings. This one I'm a little on, but I'm gonna give it a shot because that's what I do best. I give things the benefit of the doubt.
This one actually looks kind of interesting.
Yeah, so the synopsis for this one is, in a colonial era village, moon worshippers witness a blood moon at their fall festival. They take it as a sign to hunt down any non-followers, including you and your Scream Squad.
That's very interesting. I kind of like the concept of being hunted down by colonial cultists.
We love that, you know?
Yeah, that sounds like it has a lot of cool setups.
Mm-hmm. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment y'all have been waiting for. We're going to talk about Dr. Oddfellow. Not just his house, but we're just going to talk a little bit about this. So, Dr. Oddfellow is kind of like a mystery. Not really a mystery, but he's not really talked about very much in the Halloween Horror Nights kind of lore here. So, Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origins is the name of the house, and the synopsis reads, you won't be able to resist going into Dr. Oddfellow's menacing menagerie of twisted oddities, but the price for you and your friends is steep. The cost of your souls to feed his immortal power. Now, a lot of people don't really understand who Dr. Oddfellow is, so I'm going to go ahead and do my due diligence of a Halloween Horror Nights enthusiast to let you in on the little secret. So, Dr. Rich Oddfellow is his name, and he is not a real doctor, as you'd probably imagine. He was actually a circus entrepreneur who had several circuses, and he was also the boss of Jack Schmidt, which in the Halloween Horror Nights universe is known as Jack the Clown.
Yeah, which you may find extraordinarily familiar from any sort of promotional material involving Halloween Horror Nights.
Oh yeah, if you've even went to 1 year of Halloween Horror Nights, you should know who Jack the Clown is. Like, he's everywhere. But anyway, Dr. Oddfellow actually owned a carnival called Dr. Oddfellow's Carnival of Thrills. And during some point in time, Jack murdered a bunch of children, and the FBI was on him, or at least they thought the FBI was on him. So, fearing that he was going to get caught for what he did, he went to Dr. Oddfellow for help. And Oddfellow himself was wanted by the police for the accidental death of a bunch of people who were involved in a freak circus accident years under a different name. He didn't want the police to catch on to them, so he asked Jack to show him where he put the bodies. He showed them, which they were placed in 3 small trunks inside of his travel coach. And then Dr. Oddfellow murdered him and hid Jack's body in the House of Horrors as an exhibit along with the bodies of children. Later, he sold the carnival. And yada yada yada. I guess it's a little iffy, but a bunch of videography people or news people, I can't remember specifically, came across the box and the pieces and basically brought them back.
I remember it was thought that in lore wise, they brought the truck back to Universal Studios, right? And a worker opened it up out of curiosity, and Jack just kind of sat up and went, "Hey, fucker!" and probably killed the guy, but yeah.
Probably, who knows?
Interesting little thing about this. So it's a little side tangent. Interesting. Just an interesting thing I find about this. Him using actual bodies in a haunted house exhibit is a real thing that has happened in real life.
Oh yeah, it's been used. Still used, kind of. I mean, have you ever heard of the thing of the Pirates of Caribbean ride? They use like real human bones.
I don't know about that, but I know about an actual, literal decomposing corpse that was used in a ride, a horror ride at one point. That was the body, a kind of like mummified body, of a Old West outlaw. Fun fact, I found about this from a Sam O'Nella video. It was the body of an outlaw. He died. Got used as an exhibit for a while. I was like, hey, you guys want to see a dead guy? Anyway, at some point, they got misplaced and it wound up in like a box somewhere. And they found him, and they thought that it was just a mannequin. So they put it up in as one of the bodies in like this little haunted house attraction. One day, one of the workers are cleaning it, and they see one of the arms is falling off. Okay, that's a little strange. All right, picks it up. All right, let's put it back on. Why has it got bones? Why is it arm just bones? And then the guy must have sat there for a few seconds, put two and two together, dropped the arm in horror, and probably screamed.
No, probably.
Because imagine you're going through your day as just working for a haunted house. You go up to one of the mannequins, you pick up the arm, and then suddenly realize that the arm you're holding is flesh and bone, and that is not a mannequin, that's a dead guy.
I'd be a little freaked out.
I'd have shit my pants.
Piss my pants.
Piss my pants.
But oh god, it's starting. Anyway, so Jack and the children were kind of put into this little exhibit thing. Jax's corpse was actually fittingly and ironically stuffed inside a Jack in the Box prop and sealed away. Years later, when the carnival was sold, give me a second. Okay, I got it. Sorry. Anyway, so it kind of was like sitting there. All the stuff was kind of, it was sold. A bunch of the various Dark Risings that were split sent to various owners around the state, including the House of Horrors, and the bodies of the children Jack. For decades, no one knew what was going to become of, what happened, and I believe what happened is, I guess the betrayal that Oddfellow did triggered a mystical transformation of Jack and bestowed upon him dark magic and immortality.
So now, unfortunately, the world has to deal with a immortal, insane, psychotic killer clown.
Yeah. Oh, and I mean, also the Sumerian demon lord Adiro shows him as one of his new heroes, but we're not going to get into that.
The Sumerian demons involved. I didn't even know about that right there.
Oh yeah, no, literally somewhere along the way, during Jack's initial hibernation within the box, Adiro chose him as one of his new heralds.
Naturally. And somewhere along the way, he found his brilliant girlfriend, Chance.
Yes. My favorite icon, by the way. I love her. She's my favorite. Yeah, anyway, after that, television crew, I just wanted to double check and make sure I got my facts right. A television crew from BBC was actually documenting something of the Great Rides of America, and they found this thing, and they found his box, and they opened the box, and they died.
He came.
But just imagine, like, you're like a news studio doing some stuff for something, and you find this box, and you're like, you know what? Let's open this box. And they just turn the little thing, the little music's going, the music stops, the camera light dies, and then the top of the box flies open, and a giant spring with a decomposing body just pops out at you.
Da, 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 da.
I hate you.
It totally made that sound too. There's no way you wouldn't have fucking put that in
Oh,
there.
of course it did. Come on. Anyway, continuing back to Oddfellow here. So, I mean, by the way, we are gonna be mentioning Jack a little bit because he is very much so involved with Oddfellow. But anyway, fast forward in time because this is a lot. Jack escaped from Shady Brook, in sanitarium. He went out to seek revenge on Dr. Oddfellow because he murdered the guy. So he murdered him and took his most prized possession, which was a silver-headed cane of souls. Jumping into this year's Halloween Horror Nights, he's the icon. All of the scare zones and the house was tied back to him. Think about that. All of the scare zones are tied back to Oddfellow. Very interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
So, from what I've heard, Dr. Oddfellow is trying to strive to harness the power of the Zodiac, he would like draw symbols on his face and kind of like try to gain their power as well as the power of immortality. Which there's also some little thingies. So we're gonna go ahead and just talk about the scare zones super quick too. Let me bring these up real quick because this is going to coordinate a lot with what we're going to talk about right now. Scare zone. So we'll do that because I can't remember all the scare zones, so just bear with me.
Yeah, there's been a lot of scare zones over the year.
Yeah. I'm surprised. Like, I'm obsessed with Halloween Hornets, yet I can't even freaking figure it out.
One of my personal favorite scare zones that came out recently was that, like, kind of 1984 based one that had the dudes with the chainsaws running around.
Oh, that was good. That was fun.
That was a lot of fun. I think one of them harassed you with a chainsaw was great.
Yeah. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and talk about... Oh, there's Chance. I just now saw the picture that you sent me. Oh, the Dark Zodiac. Okay, so we'll start with this one. Alright. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll start with Dr. Oddfellow's collection of horror. So it says, Dr. Oddfellow will lure you into Halloween Horror Nights with a promise of immortality. As he lifts the veil on all the horrors to come, you'll soon realize you may not even survive the night. So, he's trying to do all this stuff. He's trying to gain immortality here. He's a shady dude.
Oh yeah, he's trying to get what Jack has.
Yeah, jazz hands. Dark Zodiac. Dr. Oddfellow has entered a dark dimension to harness the power of the Zodiac and live forever. He twists the signs into malevolent beings who foretell your doom. As his star rises, yours fall. So, yeah, same deal. Next one we're talking about is the Jungle of Doom, Expedition of Horror, which sounds stupid in hindsight. So in the 1920s, Dr. Oddfellow entered deep into the darkest jungle, performing horrific experiments on nature. Now his monstrous creations are running amok and are coming after you. So, during his voyage, he found a crystal skull in an ancient temple which granted him powers. Using the skull, he twisted the stuff into the jungle, trying to turn them into abominations for his carnival.
Oh, so he's like Island Dr. Morrowing it.
Kinda. So it's implied that this was the skull that would eventually sit atop his cane of souls, which is one of his main sources of power.
Okay.
Going back to the Zodiac, I guess. In 1939, during the Dust Bowl, around that time, he went to set up his carnival in a small rural Midwest town, and he mutilated hundreds of people, and then turned their bodies into grotesque versions of Zodiac signs. And he burned all the posters down, his advertisements with the carnival stuff to cover his tracks. and he basically he did this huge ritual that granted him the power of immortality that he also craved.
Yeah.
It was also around this time that Dr. Oddfellow killed Jack, and that's where his Jack's immortality comes in, because he scratched Oddfellow's face, causing some of his ball to fall onto Jack, and it made him immortal as well. The scar would remain on his face. Yeah, I know, right? Shipyard. We're going to talk about the Shipyard 32. So in the 40s, and this is just the lore from the stuff. So he would ship a crate from to his warehouse in a shipping yard in San Francisco. The crate would feature the zodiac symbol and contain a bunch of monsters in it. They escaped, and you can probably imagine how that's going to go. Destruction everywhere.
That's par for the course with this type of stuff.
Yeah, and then Vamp 69, which, if you remember, back in 2016, we had Vamp 89. Scares
I'm so glad you didn't hear what the shit I just said.
What did you just say?
Yeah, 69. Yeah.
I hate you. Why do you like this? I'm in my role here. I'm in my little bubble. You're just like, 69. How dare you, James? Sorry, Vamp 85 New Year's Eve. Nyeh. Take that, James. Anyway, 69. God damn it. Now you're having me do it. Anyway, vampires went rampant during a music festival.
Surprisingly, that's not the first time I've heard that scenario.
You know. Basically, he used his blood from a big name vampire. And he became the vampire king, if you will. Then, kind of flipping back and forth a little bit, or fast forwarding in this universe, when Jack killed Dr. Oddfellow in 2007, he sent him into a dark dimension for like 60 years. This year, in 2023, he had escaped, and he became his King of Souls, and announced that he would offer anyone who wants immortality to kind of like, hey, do this stuff. You'll be great. It's actually a very so implied that he's a servant of fear, which, if you also don't know fear, he is another kind of like he's like the ultimate main villain of the Halloween Horror Nights universe here. Like he's the guy.
It's fear, right?
Yeah, like he was the icon of 20 Years of Fear. He is the mastermind behind the entire event.
He also came back recently.
Yeah, he did. And this guy is the demon lord that blessed Jack with his immortality and stuff. This is the guy, by the way. This is him. Fear Adoro, or however you want to explain it. But yeah, he's the dude. He's the dude. Like, he's the guy that was in the Lantern forever. He's the guy who wanted to confront the guests in the flesh. He's the guy who revoked having Eddie as the icon. Which, funny enough, the reason why that happened is because the year that Eddie was supposed to be the icon was back in 2001, which you can imagine what happened in 2001. So that couldn't be ideal. So they brought Jack back.
Something.
Yeah. But he's the dude, essentially. He's the goat of Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah.
So, like, Jack the Clown, like, the 5 heralds are underneath him. So we have Jack representing chaos, the caretaker being death, the director sacrifice, the storyteller is legend, the usher vengeance. All these guys are, like, the goats.
Yeah. The original. The reason that they exist.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I could go into Halloween Horror Nights forever. I don't know if I know it's a podcast, and that's what we're supposed to be doing, but there's just so much frickin' stuff for Halloween Horror Nights lore. It's just so much to go into. There's so much stuff. It's really hard to even know where to start. Like that's an episode that's an episode in itself for the future. Like maybe that'll be episode 2. Is where we can get into like the actual just year by year just kind of stuff that's happened in preparation for the event. That'd probably suffice, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be able to do that next time when that comes out. But
yeah, so maybe we'll do that. Episode 2, everybody. Halloween Horror Nights history with Ash and James. That's gonna be it, everybody.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming to join us here. It is getting quite
thank you
right now. But once we get this uploaded, we'll have all those things edited up nice for you. We all enjoy.
Yeah, so this was just kind of meeting us, getting a little bit of a taste for how this radio shabacle is going to go. As we get more and more episodes out, we will be more and more trained, and we'll probably be more professional, but we'll
also probably bother our friend that does this on the regular. Also probably go bother our friend that does this on the regular to give us some pointers.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, shout out to Elevator Conversators, guys. Please watch their stuff. They're the best.
We were both guests on that show.
I wasn't. You were.
Oh yeah, I was. I also single-handedly on that show caused a new rule to be written up, so I wouldn't cause any more editing issues.
Yeah, don't do that to my boy. You know, my homie. Don't do that to my homie. Okay.
For reference, friends, I wouldn't stop showing ape videos.
God damn it! No, James, stop. No ape, stop.
I derailed the conversation so unbelievably hard. But if you guys want to watch that, we'll try and provide a link for that right there in the description.
Yeah, we will absolutely provide a link down below. Absolutely. If you're having a bad day and you need a laugh, just go watch their stuff. They have 2 episodes out right now. More to go. More coming on the way.
Two very good friends of ours.
They're actually one of our inspirations for starting our own podcast, and they are some of our best friends ever. They are the best people, so please support them. They deserve it.
All right.
Well, anyway, that is going to wrap up episode 1 of Wyrd Whisperers podcast. So I hope you guys enjoyed our little tangents.
Yeah,
there will be more to come. They should be more organized, as we said, a little bit, or as we progress, but I think we did pretty good.
Alright, we're going to finish this on up here, and y'all have yourselves a nice night, evening, wherever you are.
Yes. Have a good day. You know, do your stuff, you know. Be good. Right. Remember, guys, stay spooky. Stay spooky, everybody.
Stay spooky, everyone.